ladies and gentlemen, our honoree, our friend, our town supervisor, Steve Balone.
Thank you, John. It is an honor to be here, and really an honor to accept this award tonight. And I have to tell you, we're disappointed you moved out of Babylon, but I'm sure this is just a coincidence. Babylon has done very well since you moved out. Total coincidence. But I just want to say to John, John is not only an outstanding labor leader, not only a tenacious advocate for working families in our region, he happens to be one of the most stand-up guys I have ever met in my life. And it is a privilege, John, to know you and to work with you and to fight with you. Thank you for everything you do, John. My good friend Roger Clayman. Roger, thank you for your leadership in the Federation and for working families across Long Island. Thank you for what you do. To my co-honorees, Bobby, thank you for supporting the local economy in Babylon. We appreciate it. Let me know when you're coming back. I'll meet you at one of those bars. How do you follow that speech? I was sitting there in my chair, shaking my head. Why did John make me last? It had it all. I mean, that unbelievable story about your mom. He's quoting Winston Churchill, telling jokes. I'm sitting there. How awful am I? I didn't even invite my mom. He's got a tape recorder set up. Is there going to be a transcript of this, John? Mom, I love you. Is there a reporter here? But in all seriousness, Bob, let me say thank you for your service. Only for the labor movement, of course, but thank you for your service to our country as a Vietnam veteran. If there are any veterans, and we owe everything to our veterans, if there are any veterans who deserve all the gratitude and praise that we can give them, it's our Vietnam veterans. And I thank you. I know we have another Vietnam veteran here, Jimmy Castellane. And Jimmy, thank you for your service. To Teresa, it is a privilege working with you, and yes, we will do everything we can to get those solar panels on that building. And looking forward to continuing the great partnership that we've enjoyed over these last couple of years. You're doing amazing, amazing work, and it's a privilege to work with you. Thank you, Teresa. John, I really appreciated when you brought your team up here. And, you know, one of the things that I learned very quickly in government, and I think this is true in life, you can't get anything done unless you have really great people working with you. And I have an absolutely incredible team, many of them here tonight, and I want to thank them for their great work on behalf of the people of the town of Babylon. Councilman Tony Martinez, with Tom Donnelly, a New York City firefighter and Deer Park Fire Commissioner, working on behalf of our community. We're going to see a lot of great things coming from Tom Donnelly soon, so thank you, Tom. I'm going to be very brief because it's almost midnight now after Bobby's speech. But I just want to say a couple of words, and you've heard some of this tonight from Congressman Israel, of course from John and Bobby. I'm worried about what's happening in our country right now. for a long time, the middle class in this country and the working class in this country have been under attack. And that's not just verbiage. I mean, that is as clear as day in the evidence. I mean, if you look at how working families in this country have been set back year after year, if you look at the gap between the wealthy in this country and our middle class, it is absolutely astounding and dangerous. The foundation of this country has always been, and the success of this country has always been, this broad and deep middle class and working class. And my friends, we are losing that right now. And I worry for our country because of that. We've gone through this great global economic crisis, the worst economic crisis in our country in decades. And now, 2 years later, I look at the people who caused the crisis. And you know what? They're doing great. The stock market is booming. Banks are handing out millions of dollars in bonuses, more than they were before the economic crisis. And how are working families doing? Unemployment at record levels. Wages continuing to stagnate in this country. And yet, the response to this evidence, to all of this, from so many people, seems to be to blame unions. That is incredible to me. How is that possible? With the evidence that I just talked about, that you could blame unions for the trouble we are in this country. Unions that delivered for our nation the broadest and deepest middle class in the history of the world. Let me tell you my experience, my personal experience with unions. We have done some, I like to think, great work in Babylon. We have revitalized our entire park system, built new roads, revitalized downtown, built great new youth centers, buildings, amazing environmental projects, beautification projects throughout the town. That work was done with our public union employees. It would not have been done without them. I tell this to people all the time. People want to bash public employees? I say, come to Babylon. See what our public employees have accomplished. It is absolutely incredible. And we couldn't have done it without them. Local 237. Yeah. And our private unions. We have a reputation in Babylon for wanting to get things done. I'm not here to hang out. I'm not here in this position so that I can get awards from John. Thanks. I believe that if you're in a position like this, it's your obligation to do everything you can to get something done that affects people in a positive way. So we like to move projects along. And of all the major projects that have been announced on Long Island in the last 10 years with great fanfare, there's only one of those major projects that's actually been approved and built, and that's the Tanger project in the town of Babylon in Deer Park. And that project was built with all union labor. And I will tell you this, that project was delivered not only on time, but early, was opened early. And the only reason for that is because it was built with union labor on Long Island. No question about it. And I'll tell you what, we're going to revitalize the hamlet of Wyandotte. It's the most economically distressed community on Long Island. We're going to prove you can build in the most difficult place imaginable. You can do something extraordinary. We're going to build that with union labor. It is an honor for me to receive this award because I share and I believe in the values and the things that you're fighting for. I am troubled by what's happening in our country, but I understand this. We are not going to solve our problems by weakening unions. We are going to solve our problems by strengthening unions. And I am committed as a public official to working with all of you, to working with the Long Island Federation of Labor and the Building Trades Council to make that happen. Thank you very much. Thank you for this great honor. I truly